Good evening, everyone. Nice meeting all of you. So, how many more years to go for you all to graduate?
One more
One more
year,
year po.
ma'am.
Oh, one more year. Wow, not long. So, Teacher Brian, next year we can have them in our collaboration, I suppose.
Yeah, please invite every one of them, all the education students from our dear university. They're so excited to be part of all the activities that I am doing. And I'm sharing
Oh,
it to them right now. This is the start, actually.
yes, happy to hear that this is the start, and there will not be any limitations. The sky is the limit, I suppose.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Teacher Brian, would you like to present anything, or I straight
Oh
away
no,
go
you
to?
may start. They're all ready. You may start sharing all the
Okay.
good things you prepared for us, please.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Teacher Brian, for giving me this golden opportunity to meet your students, future teachers, and I'm so excited to meet all of you. First of all, I would like to ask you all that have you ever read any short stories or novels before?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. As Zenith, is it? Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrongly. So would you mind to share some of your experience reading about what do you feel while reading the novel or short story? What is it about? Can you share your experience?
One of the novels that I've read before is the novel written by our national hero. So he is Dr. Jose Rizal, and it is one of his novels is not entitled No Limitang Here.
Okay.
While I was reading that novel, it brought me to what happened in the past situation of the Philippines or of our country under the Spanish colonialism.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So, what is the language the novel is written? Tagalog?
Yes, yeah, it was
All
written in
right.
Tagalog.
Okay, thank you so much, Zenith, for sharing your experience. And she mentioned just now that she was able to know about colonialism and what happened in the past. So, sort of like we are coming to the creative writing part. Anyone else would like to share your experience? I brought Little Heart from Malaysia for you. So hopefully your heart is open to share some experiences of reading of reading short
That's so
stories.
lovely, teacher. Love the color.
Yes.
It's so
Teacher Brian,
lovely.
this is one of the projects in human happiness for the little
Really?
ones who ever join. We teach them how to make this origami heart. Then after that, they need to write a few messages to show how big is the heart.
That's so sweet. When you open the heart, there's the word love. That's really
Yes.
beautiful.
So
Oh,
hopefully
teachers.
your students are they are able to share some information before we go to the real teaching.
Yeah, they would love to. Come on, teachers. Don't be
To tap
shy.
the understanding. Yes. Okay, this is another heart for you all. Okay, anyone? Because I can't see. Oh, okay, I can see the name. So perhaps Jocelyn, do you mind to share your experience? Teacher Jocelyn, are you there?
Miss Mantala?
Maybe connectivity problem.
Yeah.
Teacher Angelica, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrongly.
Miss Paradero?
Okay, I think they're not responding. Anyone else? One more person before we move
I
on?
think Miss Coral would like to answer. Dara, would you like to share?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Miss Dara.
Good afternoon, ma'am. The very first novel book that I have read is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. when I read that book, I was in, I think, second year or third year high school. It was a book about high school love and how high school students will enter college. So I was reading that book, thinking of what I wanted to be in college. Yeah, and I I I I decided to be an English teacher.
Wow, that's very inspiring. At least a novel
Mm-hmm.
managed to change your destiny, and then this is all about creative writing. Something that you admire, something that changed you, reflected, and whatever that you can connect to your own setting, own life, or other people's life that might have given a very good impression in you, and uh, brought a lot of changes in you. So that is all creative writing all about. Thank you so much to those two teachers who volunteered to to share their experiences. Okay,
I think, teacher, we
so
got one more. Sorry, we
yeah,
got one
one
more.
more.
We'd
Okay,
like
sure,
to
Teacher
share.
Brian.
Miss
Who is
Torre
there?
Campo.
Hi. Okay.
Hi, sir. Hi, ma'am. Am I
Hi.
audible?
Yes.
Okay. I guess the very first novel that I have read, was Crime and Punishment. If you are familiar, it was it was a very long time ago. That was when I was in elementary. So,
Oh,
um, yes, a best friend of mine gave me that book. Well, I have no. I'm not a fan of reading novels back then because I was very young, and it was a novel actually. So the story is very unbelievable for a very young student like me. So it was about I remember Raskolnikov is the character in that book. So it talks about his mental anguish and like moral dilemmas. He was in that novel. I guess he planned to kill to kill someone. Yes, and um, at that time, I don't know if I actually finished that novel, but I think when I returned to college, because I stopped and then I returned to college, there was a subject back I think last semester or 2 semesters ago, and we were required to read a novel or a story in front of the class, or share a story or novel in front of the class. And I went back to reading that novel again. Yeah,
wow.
that is the only time I really understood the story.
When was it? When you were in the college?
Maybe 2 semesters ago,
Okay.
last year, or yeah, last year, just last year.
Okay, so I would say that this novel actually gave a very high impact on you. So that's the reason why, even though you started to read when you were in elementary school at very young age, I suppose, but then it impacted you. So you really wanted to read, even you have forgotten some parts of the story,
Mm,
right? So that
yeah.
is the very big impact of that particular novel. And maybe the catchword was something to do with murder, killing someone,
Yes.
right? So
Yes. Yes.
maybe that particular word, murder, it was already in your brain, so it was like questioning you on and off,
Yes.
without your realization. So maybe that made you to read. So
Mhm.
creative writing is a kind of writing that I basically enjoy very much, because it helps you to be very imaginative and you can shape your own writing. There's no do's and don'ts, as long as you can express yourselves, your feelings, with the use of quite a number of elements in fiction. So I think you can make up a piece of writing, you see, like fiction writing related to creative writing. Okay, like I've shown you this one, right? So from this heart, okay, this origami paper, art, heart, what you can think of this? Any words coming to your mind? Any phrases to describe this little heart? If you were to give this to somebody, whom do you think you want to give this little beautiful heart? Anyone?
Ma'am,
Yes.
uh, I'd give it to someone special.
Okay, someone special. What do you think you want to write here on this little heart or inside here?
A special message or a love note.
Okay, it can be anyone, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So anybody else would like to respond?
Ma'am, I think I would like to give it to a friend of mine who is celebrating her birthday today.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's wonderful. Happy birthday to
yeah,
your friend.
yes.
So I'll share a video to Teacher Brian so you can make this little heart and you can present it to your friend actually.
Thank you so much.
You can do it in 5 minutes. I wish I have the time later. Perhaps I can show. Okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. So this is something that you think out of the box, being imaginative. You want to give to somebody who is very special to you. And you mentioned that today is your friend's birthday, and what more? It is more special than any other days. So you are trying to be imaginative. So in creative writing, the prerequisite criteria is you need to be imaginative. We are not born writers. So what you have to do is that actually you need to read a lot. If you're not a bookworm in reading any storybooks or novels, short stories or novels, you have to pick a book and start reading, because imagination is very important in order to be a creative writer. To be very frank with you, I'm not an imaginative writer. I'm more into writing for academic purpose. So I really admire for those people who really can write, can just grab a piece of paper and start writing. By just looking at a piece of heart like this, they can come up with a beautiful essay, creative writing. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of you in this class has that kind of talent, but I wish to read some of your work. Okay, all right, thank you so much for being so cooperative. Now, I just want to info. I'm sure you have done reading about fiction and elements of fiction. For example, you, in order to write something or to understand about fiction, you need to understand the subject matter. What is the theme of the story about? Who are the characters? What roles do they play in order to depict the plot of the story? And then the characters, what kind of characteristics they carry in themselves, so that you are able to understand the whole plot of the story, to depict the theme, the moral values, right? And also the point of view of the writer. Okay, which type of point of view the writer is using, that you yourself would like to write if you were to be given a chance to be a writer of a particular, let's say, okay, I just tell you, for example, it was scorching hot. I just returned after the netball practice. So you may have to continue the rest of the lines, in order to come up with a piece of creative writing. So what are the what are the information that you need to have in order to write? So all this important information, like what I mentioned just now, point of view, the characters, everything has to play in role in order for you to come up with a piece of good creative writing. And also the conflicts. Of course, any stories need to have conflicts. Then only you can see the rising, the falling down of the plot, so that you are able to give a kind of spice for the story. Otherwise, the story will be very bored. Okay, and then the setting where the story is going to take place or the story has taken place, and also the symbols, the imageries, metaphors. So these kind of things will come along when you are dealing with creative writing, especially fiction. All right. So I'm just wondering, any one of you who are really interested in creative writing? I mean, you have written quite a number of work related to writing essays. You can't just stop writing. You need to grab the piece of paper and a pen, and then you will start just the flow. The ideas will just flow like that. Any one of you have that kind of passion in writing? Anyone? No, you have not tried?
I
Oh,
think teacher
Pauline.
Antonia.
Pauline, right? Teacher Brian? Hi, Pauline.
Yes,
Where are you,
hello,
Teacher
ma'am.
Pauline? Hi. Okay, can you share your experience, Teacher Pauline?
Before, ma'am, I used to wrote a lot of poems.
Oh, okay. All right.
Um,
Okay.
I use it as one of my coping mechanism.
As one of what, my dear?
As one of my coping mechanism, I can express myself well in writing.
Oh, I see. So, can you still remember the lines in your poem?
No, ma'am, because that was a year ago.
Oh, I see. So you can't remember, is it? If you
Yes.
happen to remember, do not worry. You can always type it out in a platform called Wakelet. I've already created the link, and maybe with Teacher Brian's help, you can just type it out. I would love to read your poem. All right. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much, Teacher Paulina, for sharing your experience. Wow, I'm so impressed with your skill of writing a poem. Though I'm a language teacher, Teacher Brian, I've never written even a poem before, a single poem, because as I told earlier, I'm not a very creative person. So I've never made an attempt. What about you, Teacher Brian?
Oh yes, ma'am. I do love to read, but then the genre that I'm usually reading are those mystery, something that would play lots of things in my mind. And then when I turned into college, I fell in love with this writer. Let me share the name also to my students so could see it. They knew this writer. This is the name of the writer, and this other one.
Bob Ong?
Yes, and Eros Atalia.
Okay, Eros Italia. Okay.
They are familiar with these writers, and if you're gonna look into their writings, they are really somehow mysterious. Except for Bob Ong, he never shown his real identity to the readers. But Eros Atalia, he's a well-known writer here. His books were turned into films, and most of the topics that they've got were all about reality. It's not just pure imagination, but what's happening around us. They just put it in a creative way.
Okay. Yeah, I could sense that earlier when we had the interview session that your words, the way you approach, and there's some kind that I could figure out that this person must have interest in reading, creative writing, something like that. So I'm true enough that correct that you are really interested in reading something to do with mysterious plot and all that. Okay, thank you, Teacher Brian, for your sharing information about your experience. All right, so I'd like to share the screen.
Yes, teacher, you may, please.
Yes, but Brian, as I mentioned earlier, I used to share screen in Zoom and Microsoft Teams, so hardly using Google Meet. So I'm trying. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. If you need assistance, okay, let me open my cam again. Sorry.
All right.
So you just need to click the present now, teacher.
All right. Sure.
And then you'll have three options there.
Yes. I have this. Okay. Okay. Now should be okay.
Yeah.
Is my
Okay.
screen visible? Can you
Yes,
see my screen?
teacher.
Okay,
Yes.
Teacher Brian, what can you see? I
Oh,
need to.
definitely. I can see the wakelet. Okay. And it's all about creative writing. So I'm excited, teacher.
Thank God. I share it correctly. Okay. So students, before we embark in teaching you, sharing experience about using Wakelet, Microsoft Educator Center, I think for the next maybe 45 minutes or 30 minutes, I'm going to share about creative writing because I really enjoyed the session of set induction that we have gone through just now. Okay, so Teacher Brian, I share about these two information later, yeah?
Yes, teacher, please. Later
All
on.
right. So before that, students, if you can see that this is a platform called Wakelet. So later we will come to the technical part of it. So if you notice here, I've arranged information for you to learn further about creative writing, the elements of creative writing. Then I have also another template here, 100 creative writing prompts for writers. If in case any one of you trembling to be a creative writer just like me, I would say, so you can just read up on this and try out, okay? Trial and error, whether A is working or B is working, or what is not working for you, what is working for you, all right? So you can give a try. Okay, and then another one is 60 ideas you can use today to prompt your writing. And okay, 21 top examples of creative writing tips oasis. You can look at a few examples given on how to embark in creative writing and how to just continue the journey in creative writing. So students, I hope you can see. This one is quite interesting. Lesson 3, Elements of Fiction. Introduction to Creative Writing will be also an eye-opener for you. And then this is something to do fiction writing as well. Okay, and this I've compiled few videos for you from the net. Creative writing, I mean the activity and the lesson as well, because you are teachers, so I think probably this might be useful for you later. And how to teach yourself creative writing. I like this video because this person actually teaches you how to love creative writing, how to start from the scratch in order to be a creative writer. All right. And then 7 creative writing exercises for beginners. This is also simply awesome. Just like a few minutes video, but this person talks about method A, method B, method C, and so on. And also this creative writing also I like from this particular teacher. She talks about her own experience in getting into creative writing. Okay, elements of fictions that we are about to discuss today. So that's another lecture video for you. And also, this is also something very short and simple. I like this video very much, very short and simple about elements of fiction. And then some examples, okay? Some examples of creative writing, all right? And also some sample essays from Malaysian context in writing, creative writing. And these are 2 assignment questions, sort of like practice questions. Maybe we will embark shortly. And I'm not sure how many of you have read A Rose for Emily from by William Faulkner. Anyone? You have read this short story? Any of the teachers? Have you read this short story before? A Rose for Emily. This is one of my favorite. Usually in Malaysian setting, we learn this story in our this one during our degree course. So this is one of the elements of literature, one of the short stories that usually introduced in tertiary education level. So anyone, you have read before this story?
Actually, sure,
Not
I've
yet.
heard that. Okay.
Yes,
But,
Teacher Brian?
yeah, I've heard that. But what I've during my college days, what I've read
Okay.
about William Faulkner was, if I'm not mistaken, the title was "As I Lay Dying." Was it one of his work? As I Lay Dying.
Oh, I am not very sure. Later we check. Yes.
Yeah, and I think Miss Espinosa was about to share something.
Oh,
Is
yes.
it?
What is it? Teacher, would you like to say something? Okay. Perhaps shortly, if you can remember, you share something. Okay, this is a beautiful short story, which is my favorite. Very simple, but yet a bit complicated to understand. All right, because it takes you 30 years back and forth in order to understand the story. So now, during my time, at that time when I did my first degree, let's say about, I would say like 15 years back. So the technology, Teacher Brian, was not so advanced. So basically, I have to read the thick book, and one of it is Rose for Emily. And then, have to find books from the library, the journals, the articles about it, and it was time consuming. Now you just type in Mr. Google everything in one particular platform. So yeah, from here you can read about information related to the analysis, summary, and themes of A Rose for Emily. Even I found a short movie about the story. Some students, as we know, right, Teacher Brian, they might not be interested to read first, right? They may want to watch the videos first. So this type of students, they may always watch the video first to get the understanding, then they can start continue reading. Okay, and then I have like understanding A Rose for Emily. This is like a kind of sharing session by this teacher. And what I like most is that information related to summary and analysis is right in front of you. So once you click it, you will be able to understand about this whole story about. Okay, and then to make it better, they have, the story is divided into few parts. The videos are in few parts, for example, part 1 until part 5. And it is beautifully narrated. Very colorful, beautifully narrated, and it's quite interesting. Okay, so until part 5. Then you have the plot summary, the characters, maybe you are doing an assignment related to characters, you are, rushing to find out some information. Okay, so you may just go through this particular video, to understand the characters in A Rose for Emily. And then the symbols, what are the symbols that are found in this story to be giving a kind of impact in the story itself. And then the themes, for you to understand the themes for this particular story. Okay, and then analysis in PPT form. Okay, and another Spark Notes I took from Spark Notes, plot overview. All right, so this type of reading materials you need in order for you to understand a story in depth before continuing with your assignments and all that. So Wakelet is a platform that you just copy, paste, and you can just keep on adding numerous collections and whatsoever without worrying for the full, the computer, the laptop to be a full storage and so on, because this is cloud-based. It is saved automatically, cloud-based. Okay, so let's look at this one first. Okay, so Teacher Brian, you can see this video, right? Elements of Fiction.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, yes, I just played this video. You can see this YouTube video running, right?
Elements of fiction.
Yes, teacher.
Fiction is a
All
form
right,
of
thank you,
writing
Teacher Brian.
in which an imaginary story is
So teachers, you
constructed
may
in a
pay
way
attention to
that the
this.
story connects the readers to the characters as if they exist in
Teacher
reality.
Nirmala,
Since
I
the
think
story
there
is
is
not real,
feedback.
the author
If,
must be aware
I
of
think
certain
you need to
elements.
mute your...
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
sure. Hang on a minute.
Before you play, mute the mic on your end. Let's see if it will work.
Okay, sure, no problem. I stop sharing first.
Okay, and then yeah, your mic is on mute now, and then you can share again the video, please.
That make a fiction as
Yes, the
real
sound is
as
all good now,
possible.
teacher.
So let's look at those elements. Subject matter. Subject matter is what articulates the theme of a story. It's a set of characters, actions, settings, and other properties. Subject matter serves the author's purpose or theme. Character. Characters are the representation of persons, and the persons can be characterized in expository and dramatic methods. When the author narrates about a character, either as an omniscient narrator or through another character, it is called expository characterization. When the readers have to judge the characters from their actions, personalities, attitudes, and relationships with each other, it can be understood as dramatic characterization. There are flat and round characters, which just means simple and complex characters. And it depends upon our ability to figure out the uniqueness of the characters if they are simple or complex. Furthermore, we can also recognize if a character is static or developing. A static character remains unchanged throughout the story, while a developing character keeps changing. Protagonist is a character with whom our emotions are chiefly involved, and the protagonist's actions are interrupted by an opposing character, which is known as an antagonist. A major character may reveal secrets to another character, known as confidant. A foil has qualities that are in contrast with the primary character. Some characters do not have their individual identities, apart from being known by their occupation, nationality, community, etc. They are called typical characters. Farmer, doctor, and soldier are some of the examples of a typical character. Point of view. Point of view is the position from which events are observed. If the narrator knows everything, the story is said to be an omniscient point of view. In this point of view, the narrator is usually different from the characters. If the narrator is one of the characters and has limited information about other characters, then the author is using limited point of view. Most of the time, the author uses a first-person narrator in this point of view. Action and plot. Action can be understood as the sequence of visible physical happenings that the characters undergo, and plot is the parallel sequence of changes in human relations resulted by events of the action. Conflict is the essence of both action and plot. The conflict may be between the protagonist and an antagonistic forces or within a character. In most of the older stories, the phases of the conflict are easier to notice. However, it's harder to clearly see the conflict and struggle in the modern fictions, since protagonists and antagonists are not always clearly distinguishable. Some stories are narrated in a completely chronological manner, but most of the stories are not found in chronological order. Flashback is used instead to shift a scene to an earlier time. Setting. Setting is where a story happens. Setting provides an appropriate atmosphere and reflects relationship in the action or plot. Atmosphere and tone. Atmosphere is the dominant emotion that is seen through the story. The descriptions of actions and events, and most significantly, the author's language produce the atmosphere. Tone is the attitude of the author towards the subject. Sometimes the author comments on the characters, while in some cases the author refrains from doing so. Language. Generally, we're not consciously alert to the language used in fiction. However, we care about the choice of words. If formal, informal, literal, and metaphorical words are used in the right place, readers will enjoy the story without being conscious about language. Allegory and symbolism. Allegory involves characters and events that represent abstract ideas and events. Symbols are the objects used to stand for another object with a particular meaning. Unlike allegory, A symbol doesn't tell a story. Theme. Theme of a story is what the author tries to convey through the work of fiction. You may understand it as the underlying message of a story. Arguably, every work of fiction has a theme.
Okay, so that is a brief information about. Okay, stop sharing. Okay, that is brief information about elements in fiction. All right, so actually you can find more information about it, but what I would say is that not to worry too much on the technical words because that will actually stop you from thinking and being creative unless I'm not very sure about the format of the examination that you might be sitting for. But if let's say the examination format is related to asking you, let's say, to read a short story related to, example, A Rose for Emily, and then maybe this type of technical words might be tested, and you need to write, for example, symbol. Okay, what are the symbols can be found from A Rose for Emily? Then you have to remember those symbols, in order for you to write in the examination. Same goes to plot, characters, metaphor, things like that. But if let's say your examination is basically testing you, or your assignment is basically testing you to write about something, about a topic that I've shown you just now, maybe we will go through that, then you do not have to worry so much of this type of these technical words. Okay, so what you can do is that just try to be thinking creatively in order to complete that particular piece of writing. All right, so once if you're thinking too much of these technical jargons, then what I'm afraid is that the creativity will be, there will be a kind of block for you to think creatively. So you need to see you are studying or you are going to continue writing for which type of purpose, either for your examination or to answer your assignment questions. Okay, so I think your teacher is the best person to gauge you in answering this, the purpose of whether to focus on the technical parts or to focus on the creativity part. Okay, all right, so the next one is, okay, I better off the shortly when I share the video, then I off. Okay, so another one that I quite like is related to this one. Let me share this. Okay, you can see the screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, this is like an overview for what we have discussed just now. In case you need this to read, you can always make use of these slides. Okay, I will just have a glance through of this presentation. Okay. Okay, so as we have discussed earlier, creative writing is all about imagination, right? Okay, so the art of making things up, to write creatively, to put together some loose parts, and to put your creativity, some of the elements that you think necessary for building this creative writing is very much needed. Then you can see the story is really flowing, the ideas are there, and it sounds interesting. Okay, the purpose of creative writing is both to entertain, share human experience, love, loss, or anything that you want to write. Just now, your friend, she mentioned that she wrote a poem. What actually triggered her to write the poem? I think, if not mistaken, she mentioned that it was a kind of like a motivation for her, right? To choose a destiny or something like that. She mentioned a word for that. What was that word? Paulina, is it? Teacher Paulina, is it? Who mentioned that she wrote a poem?
Miss Pantonial?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, there.
Yeah. What was the word that you mentioned that triggered you to write that poem?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What was that? Uh, what was it behind that poem? That actually made you to write it.
To express my emotion, and it served as my coping mechanism.
You see, coping mechanism to expose her emotions. Okay, so this is all about sharing human happiness. All right, experience happiness or sadness or anything that you want to express. You can express them well in your creative writing. So these are some of the examples of creative writing. For the purpose of this subject, right, Teacher Brian, you're actually focusing on what? Which one?
Well, actually, teacher. Oh, let me open my camera. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, teacher, we have. Okay, sorry. We've discussed the introduction. This one, okay. So they have a better view of what is creative writing is all about. All right, but then our next topic, because I've already told them, we're gonna be focusing more on poetry. Now is more on fiction. So poetry and fiction is what we're targeting for this
Mhm.
next week, or for this coming week right now. So we're focused more on poetry and fiction. The one that you have shown to them, the introduction to fiction and its elements,
Mhm.
that's what they are really looking for. And that was a really good, video that you've captured.
Okay. Thank you, Teacher Brian. Yeah, I like that video very much. Very short and brief, but the message is very powerful, right? Very easy for students to understand. Thank you, Teacher Brian. Okay, so since you are going to focus on poetry, but these are some of the elements in creative writing as well. Maybe some other time you may want to focus on some of these, so it will be very useful for you. Okay, so all right. So some of the techniques that you need to know, as we already seen in the video itself, the character development, plot development, the setting, the theme, point of view, dialogue in the short story, anecdote, metaphor, similes, figures of speech, imaginative, emotional appeal, heavy description. So all these will come along if you are into writing up. Let it be poetry, let it be any short stories. Okay. Okay, so the differences between technical writing and creative writing, I'm sure obviously you know about it. Creative writing, we are focusing on fictional, imaginative, entertaining, proactive, and captivating the audience. Whoever going to read our piece of writing, they should be captivated. They should be like, they have a kind of feelings that they really want to read. What is next? What is next? What is next? So they have that kind of questions in them. So we need to make it more creative and imaginative, right? In terms of poem, like for example, if you have read The Road Not Taken by one of the poets, I've forgotten his name, Teacher Brian. The Road Not Taken. Robert Frost. Yes, Robert Frost. I just love that poem. It's a kind of what do you call reflecting on us. Let's say if any one of you are here, if let's say you really want to become a teacher, then okay, fine. If let's say any one of you have different ambitions or ambition, you actually want to become a doctor, but something pushed you to be a teacher and your destiny is here. So that poem really depicts the life of this kind of people, where the road diverged into two and this person is standing in the middle, and he or she has to make decision in order to travel in one of the roads in order to come up in his life. So I just love that poem. So if you have time, you can just read about that poem, and the message in the poem, the themes, the values contained in the poem. So I'm not sure how many of you have read that poem before. Anyone read that poem before? The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. No. Okay, no problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you so much. So, do you like the message conveyed by Robert Frost in that poem?
Yeah, I really love it.
Okay. Which part of it that really made you that this is a fantastic poem, man? I really love this poem so much. What was that thing that made you really fall in love in this poem?
Um, I guess the hidden meaning behind the poem that was inflected by the writer, because since it is entitled "The Road Not Taken," so probably I think there's a regret in that writer.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you because a lot of imagery is being used, right? Symbols, right? For example, if I can remember the woods itself, the lonely journey itself, I just love the symbols being used by in that particular poem by Robert Frost. Okay, that really shows that you really love that poem in the sense that you understood the message, the regret that particular poet was, the person that poet mentioned that he or she was facing, right? So how if, let's say, I've come across a few colleagues of mine, actually they want to become somebody, maybe in different field of work, but then they ended up as a teacher and all that, so the frustrations of some people might be there. So that is one of the poems that I read related to regret, frustrations. Yeah, thank you. And then it is about artistic, figurative, symbolic, vague, subjective, generalized vocabulary. And some of the vocabularies in the poems are very, very good, and it really depicts the understanding. It really touched our emotions actually. Okay, and some of the key differences between the writing, the formal way of writing and the technical writing and also creative writing. Technical writing, obviously, you know that it is about factual, informative, persuasive, clear, precise, straightforward, like what you're writing for your examination, very straightforward, objective, and specialized vocabulary. Okay. Okay, so these are the differences as well. Okay, I'm just going to move on. Here, creative writing actually allows for more personal expressions. Unlike academic writing, aims to explore an idea, argument, or concept. So by now, I think you are very clear about what you are expected to do in creative writing. There's no right or wrong formula in creative writing actually. Okay, and basically in creative writing, one of the most important elements that we use is that sensory. Okay, we have the five senses. So basically, the five senses related vocabulary you need to imagine in order to be a creative writer actually. Okay. All right. So for example here, you see compare the following two passages. I mean, for example, I went to the store and bought some flowers. Then I headed to the meat department. Later, I realized I forgot to buy bread. So the next one, now, does this pull you in? Of course, it doesn't. There's nothing to bring you into the writer's world. So, I mean, it depends on how you want to shape your writing by using the vocabulary, the sentence patterns, and how imaginative you are is up to you. These are some of the examples given. Okay. So now we are going to this imagery part. Okay, imagery is basically used by poets, novelists, and other writers to create images in the mind of the reader. Like what your friend just now, she mentioned that she read the poem, The Road Not Taken, and she found that the words, symbols being used in order to let the readers to know the particular person is facing a kind of frustration, regret. So all the words, the imagery, I would say, in the woods, and a few other words, many other words are being used to describe the situation of this particular person is facing actually. Okay, some they use imagery, visuals, you know, sounds, scent, taste, the five senses, touch. Okay, so in short, this cute, I mean the image shows, yeah, the types of imagery. Auditory describes what we hear, like music, silence, or noise. Tactile, related to what we touch or feel. Texture, the movement, the temperature. Gustatory, describe what we taste. Is it bitter, salty, acidic, sweet, or sour? Then visual, describe what we see, like the colors, patterns, shapes, and sizes. Olfactory, describe what we smell, nice fragrances, bad odors, you know, all this. I think when teacher Brian is dealing with the poetry writing, I think you will automatically, your LAD, language acquisition device, will be activated, and definitely you are going to come up with something. And I hope to get to see your poems from teacher Brian. Okay, so these are some of the elements in sensory, like for example, color, shape, size, pattern. You know, it's quite technical, you know, just to studying about this matter is one part, but to put everything in writing and to come up with a piece of writing, I won't say it's very easy, though it's difficult, but you can always give a try. Okay, if you're in that circumstances, definitely you can try. You will come up with something. Okay, sounds, noises, and then fragrances, odors. Okay, some of the, you know, gustatory, like the taste, sweetness, sourness that I've explained just now. So you can, you know, mix and blend to come up with something nice. Okay, tactile imagery. Why do we need to use imagery? Because we experience life through our senses. A strong composition should appeal to them through the use of imagery. Okay, and then descriptive imagery launches the reader into the experience of a warm spring day. For example, if I say, I give you a sentence. It was a scorching hot day. So you may want to know what type of a day, scorching hot. So the word scorching hot, actually the phrase tells you that something that is very, very hot, something sometimes at times will be very irritating, uncomfortable, you know, you feel like you need to refresh yourself. So this kind of imaginations might play in your mind, okay? And then allows the reader to directly sympathize with characters and narrators as they imagine having the same sense of experiences. Another way as why we use imagery is that commonly helps to build compelling poetry, convincing narrative, vivid plays, well-designed film sets, and descriptive songs. So I think if you have a look at few examples of poems, from there you can see what imagery all about. Okay, and then imagery in literature is very common throughout literature. It can be found in poems, plays, stories, novels, you know, other creative compositions. Okay, here are a few examples of imagery, okay? So you can just have a look at it later. Okay, some of the examples. These videos are not playable, but I think if you go to the website, it is playable actually. Okay, so metaphor is another term. It's used as a type of imagery. Especially metaphor is the direct comparison of two distinct things. Very high degree of comparison. For example, a smiling face is the sun. So a smiling face is a face of a human, but the face of the human is compared to the sun. All right, so the degree of comparison is very high. Very, very high. So that's why we call it metaphor. His temper was a hurricane whipping through the school, scaring and amazing his classmates. You see, the temper is compared to the hurricane. You know, the degree of being hot-tempered, okay? And then some of the examples are given. And then onomatopoeia is also common tool used for imagery. Okay, it's a form of auditory imagery in which the word used sounds like the thing it describes. For example, the fire crackled and popped. Okay, she rudely slurped and gulped down her soup. So this kind of words, okay, but you don't hear the word. For example, the slurp or the gulp sound, you don't hear, but you can imagine them, okay, through the use of onomatopoeia. And then personification is another element in writing. It's another tool used for imagery. Personification provides animals and objects with human-like characteristics. Example, the wind whistled and hissed through the stormy light. So whistled, we usually, you know, human whistled, hissed, the snake hissed. So this is given to provide animals and objects with human-like characteristics. So the human's characteristic is actually being given to animals or objects. So that is what you call personification. Okay, so that's the end of this particular slide. Okay, let me stop presentation. But as I mentioned earlier, there are many things actually you can Google and you can read, but these are the basic ones that I hope will be actually helpful for you. So before we carry on, do you need to break for a few minutes or what? So I just continue, Teacher Brian?
Yes, teacher. You may continue. Nothing to
All
worry.
right. Okay. Okay. You know why, Teacher Brian? I keep reminding your students that not to worry about the technical part, because I was too nervous when I was in my university when looking at all these jargons, I tell you.
Yeah, they might be curious because you got lots of things to share to them, but how can they access it? So, teachers, my dear students, that's why Teacher Nirmala is about to discuss to you later. Wakelet itself, okay? So,
Yes.
there's something behind this, okay? So, you might ask us, Teacher Nirmala got lots of references, but how can you access it? So later on,
Yes.
she's gonna be discussing it. All right.
All right. So, Teacher Brian, do I have time until 5:30 or 6 o'clock?
Well, teachers, will you be available 5:30 or 6 for Teacher Nirmala to discuss? Would it be okay with you, teachers?
Sorry for taking up their time.
Yeah, teachers, are you still there? Actually, Teacher Nirmala, we're really experiencing bad internet connection. Last night, up until this morning, I already have a fiber connection, a good connection for internet, but still my internet is failing, so I'm not quite sure. But then I guess it's all good for the teachers because they're going to be benefiting. Go ahead, teacher.
Sure, Teacher Brian. So I'm just going to explain about these tasks, and after that, I'm going to go to Microsoft MEC and also Wakelet. Yeah, you give me about 5 minutes.
Yes, please, teacher. We're excited to hear.
Okay. Okay, teachers. Let's say since I only have like 30 minutes. Actually, I'm free, but then since I have to look into your situation as well, not an issue at all. So what I'm going to tell is that this is an example of essays. A task that Teacher Brian might upload in Wakelet. Any portfolios, any assignment questions, or any teaching materials for you to understand exactly something like this, or more additional information to depict your understanding. Teacher Brian can have a few collections and add them for you. Okay, so this is the collection that I've done for you, and I've shared the link with Teacher Brian. Okay, let's say if Teacher Brian shared the link with you all, what you will be doing is that you just click that link and you will come here. Okay, so once you have come here, what you're going to do is that you're going to click edit. Okay. Hang on a minute, it's still loading. Okay, fine. Okay, so you just look for this particular part of assignment questions. Example, you see when we are in two mediums, it's like, overloading. So that's why it takes time, right, Teacher Brian?
Yes, Teacher Nirmala. I also having problem. I've just shared the link right now, but yeah.
The moment I get the page is not responsive, my heart is pounding, Teacher Brian.
Me too. Because I lost connection last night up until early this morning. But good thing our providers, gave back
Okay.
again a little bit stable but slow. I don't know what's happening this morning or up
Mm-hmm.
until up until this afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not very sure. So, what is happening to our internet connection actually? Okay, so students, once you click edit, what you can do is that, let's say you are having group collaboration or you are doing editing alone according to the, let's say this is an assignment for one group. Okay, let's say 15 of you and Teacher Brian assigned you group one, 5 of you to complete this essay. Example, write an essay in about 350 words. You may work in group of 5 to complete the task. You need to use the following phrases in writing the essay. Example, it was a scorching hot day. I just had netball practice. Then you have to continue. Remember, 350 words, not lesser than that. Okay, let's say 5 students are going to collaborate. What you do is that, because since I'm opening my own collection, so I can just click on edit and then I can just continue typing here. But you are not the owner of the collection. So because you use the link to join this, to collaborate in this space. So what you have to do is that you are going to click here. And then you are going to add text. Okay, so can someone give me 1 or 2 sentences after the netball practice? You remember?
Yep.
Yes, it was a scorching hot day. I just came home after netball practice, something like that, right? So what can you continue after that? Try to think for a few minutes.
I guess they are already thinking, teachers. I've sent the link to them. So teachers, can you try and access and answer it,
Okay.
please?
Yes, better. Teacher Brian, that's a very good idea. Let them add the collection here. They have to, teachers, you just press here. And then if you're going to type, you're going to add the text. Okay, teacher? Okay, let's say I'm just typing www. Okay, once I've done, you're very sure of your grammar and all that. You can bold, you can italic, you can underline, you can make it bigger words. You can add the link or anything related to assignment and then you press done. Once
I
done,
think some students were accessing, teacher, right? You can see in the upper portion, right? The images, the circles at the upper portion besides the changes saved, teacher.
oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
I
think
can see.
my students are
Yay.
already accessing it. Maybe they're just
Yes,
typing right now.
IT savvy teachers. Very
Yeah.
easy. Then teachers, once you have done, you just click done. So your teacher, Brian, will be able to see who and who collaborated and completed that particular task. The name of the person will be there actually. Okay, so you can collaborate. So we give them about five minutes to collaborate, Teacher Brian. Just let them type.
Yes, yes. Teachers, feel free to write your answers now so that at least
Yes,
we can see how this Wakelet really works
yes.
for us.
Let's say I want to delete my answers. I just press edit. So, Teacher Brian, actually, Wakeless give real-time collaboration. The students can be in any parts of the world. They can just collaborate online. Okay, so as mine is loading. I hope your side is better, students.
My end is also loading, teacher. I'm also
Yeah. So,
trying.
Teacher Brian, actually, when you press the plus button, right? Okay,
Mhm.
so you will see this. The students can add text. Okay,
Yeah,
they
I
can.
saw now, Teacher Nirmala. Ms.
Yes.
Olga is already typing Iowa.
Okay. Then, Teacher Brian, if you can see, the students also can see while actually you are collaborating. If you
Yes.
click image, okay, you can upload from the library. If you upload from the library, you name any topics you are looking for, all the pictures will be here. Okay, let's say I love this picture so much, maybe it is related to my creative writing. So I can just have it here. I can just add on. Okay, if let's say I do not want from the library, I'm looking for something that is very personal of mine, that is related to my creative writing, depicts the topic itself that I'm writing, what is the topic that I'm writing about, then I will just, let's say, I will just click here, upload an image.
Mm.
Okay, I'm sorry, Teacher Brian, it's not like super fast. Though my internet, I'm using the high
Oh,
speed, but
I think someone is already done. Teacher Nirmala, let me check.
all right. So then you see you can upload the Malaysia flag if it is related example. Okay, and then the best part is you can also bookmark. Once you bookmark, let's say Teacher Brian, you have this collection, right? You will have this, you will see this collection of mine. So later in your Wakelet, you just have to bookmark it, press this, and it will be automatically copied to your Wakelet.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
and
think
from there,
we have answers, Teacher Nirmala. One from Miss
wow, that's wonderful.
Angelica Grace Paradero. She said a two-word combination which represents joy and beauty. That tiny brownish dots adds beauty to its center. How can you be as bright as yellow? Sunflower.
Oh, thank you, Teacher Brian, for reading it to me because
From
I
Miss
can't see
Paradero,
anything.
Teacher Nirmala. And Ma'am Olga answered to the essay, the question. It was a scorching hot day. I just had the netball practice. I wanted to get home as fast.
Wow, brilliant, wonderful. But unfortunately, I can't see yet, Teacher Brian, because mine is still loading. But anyway, I'm focusing on the technical part. So
Yes,
students, you
teacher,
may
please.
listen while you are actually doing a fabulous job. Okay, see, you can also upload the PDF, or even better, Teacher Brian, you just click on Twitter. Okay, just click on Twitter. Let's say, okay, Nirmala Devi Khan 2. This is my Twitter account. So anything to do with mine, which I feel that I want to save in my collection, so I will just add them. Just add them and it will be pop up there. But now you can't see it, but later you will be able to see it because my line is like, it's not good, even though I'm using the high-speed internet line. Okay, and then again, the video of this Flipgrid. Okay, if you click it, you can just do the recording. I'm sure your students are well versed with Flipgrid, right, Teacher Brian?
Yeah, yeah. They are
Okay,
really
so
familiar and
yes, Teacher Brian, you do not ask them to go out to the Flipgrid app itself. They can do the recording here. Okay. Hi, teachers and Teacher Brian. I'm happy to meet all of you today. Bye-bye. Hi, teachers and Teacher Brian. Hi, teachers and teacher. Okay, next. And then, I'm sure your students are more pro than me, taking selfie, blah, 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 blah. Younger generation, they are more
yeah.
IT savvy. Okay, so let's say I have it. Okay, and it is uploaded there. It will be uploaded there. So I don't have to move anywhere else. Okay, then Teacher Brian, if your students have any links from internet they want to integrate, just press YouTube, copy the link and paste it. And then if you have any materials, Teacher Brian, or your students, oh my God, now teacher is going to ask me to use a Wakelet. all my materials are in OneDrive and Google Drive. Not to worry. You just press this Google Drive, drag and drop. You just press this OneDrive, drag and drop. That's it. So everything. But safety purpose is very important, Teacher Brian and students. Let's say this collection, Teacher Brian, you only want to use for your students of this particular group. You do not want to expose it to anybody around the world or in the university. What you do is that you have the freedom to choose either public, unlisted, or private. So let's say unlisted, only this group of students will be able to see because you are going to share the link only with them in that particular circle. If let's say, Teacher Brian, you put it as private, maybe you have examination question banks, the questions are here. So you may put it private. None of the people in this world able to see your questions. It is very safe. Only you have the access. If let's say you want to compile your resume, your private photos that you do not want to share with anybody, you have attended webinars, you have written journals, whatsoever, everything, but you want to just add on in the Wakelet collections, but you want to make it private because it is yours, not for viewing by others, so you can just click private. So if let's say I am following your Wakelet, I will not be able to see your private collections. I will only see the title of your collection, like creative writing. You will be able to see, and you are able to access to this creative writing collection because it is unlisted. Only you and your students are allowed to join this creative writing. Okay, if let's say I put it as public, anybody who are like following me, like following in Messenger or following in our social media pages like Twitter or something like that. So they are able to see our collections, each and individual collections if it is for public. You may have 10 collections, but maybe 9 collections are private, 1 is public. So that particular person who is following you will be only able to see that public collection, not private or unlisted, because you didn't share the link. Okay.
Yeah, for the security. That's right.
Yes, exactly. So once students you have done, you can just click done. So to have this, students, you need to create an account. So shortly I'll go to that. Okay, you go to www.wakelet.com, you have to create an account. And maybe you can start following people in your circle, or maybe I can give some of the Wakelet addresses to Teacher Brian. You can start following other educators. It is not like it is something similar to like Instagram, it is difficult to find people, but you can always follow one another. Yes, there's a way actually. And then let's say Teacher Brian, you want to create the link for them to collaborate. You just have to type invite, copy the link and post in WhatsApp or Telegram groups, or even in a Google Classroom. Copy the code or the QR code. So you just share with your students, so they are able to access to this collection. So that is how it works. Let's say, okay. Hang on, yeah. So I think this particular part is quite clear, right, Teacher Brian?
Yes, very clear, teacher.
Very clear. Okay, Teacher Brian, I'm back to the another part. This is supposed to be the first part. Are you able to see another page of my Wakelet?
Apparently, we're still on the Wakelet creative writing.
All right, so I have to stop sharing. I will share again. Okay. So can you see it, Teacher Brian?
Yes. We got a list of your Wakelets, teacher.
Yes. Nirmala Devi Kandasamy, right? I have 68
Yes,
followers, 55 people following me, and then I have 102 collections and bookmarks.
Wow,
so these are bookmarks, not done by me, Teacher Brian, done by people around the world that I'm following. Let's say I want to learn about about, for example, a rose for Emily. This is not my work, but I've copied and pasted other people's work. So it will be under bookmarks. So many collections I have under bookmarks. So if let's say you are interested in any of these, you can always go here, bookmark, and then it will be in your collection. So it is very easy and all copyrighted. We don't have to worry. And then sometimes I collaborate. Do you remember we rise up for SDG, Paramjit ma'am? She's running a project. We rise up
Yeah.
for SDG, and my students are joining. So your students also can join. So these are the people's project that actually I have been following in order to collaborate with my students. So everything is here. The human happiness I told you, right? So
Yes,
everything
yes,
is here.
yes.
But if you're interested, you can just bookmark any of the collections, no problem. So many of these collections doesn't belong to me, actually belongs to other people. So these are the collections that I work along with other people in other projects, and bookmarks are the ones done by other people and I've copied in order to make some references, or I may have other future readings. I want to have it so that I mean once I have the time, I can always go through things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say we go back to collection. Okay, so these are my collections. Okay, some of these collections are private, some are unlisted, and some are public. So those who are under public, you can always just click and view if you are following me. So things like that. Okay, so let's say creating a new collection. You just press here, create a new collection. Can you see the empty page?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, you can add a cover page. As I said, upload an image from your own drive or from the library. So students, you can go to www.wakeler.com and you can start creating your own collections. And Teacher Brian will have his collections, whatever assignments or whatever, he can always collaborate with you here. Okay, let's say I'm choosing this. Okay, so I just click on it and it will be here. All right, so I can edit the cover page, full image, or full image, or smaller image, or maybe I will just say flowers. Maybe I just want to have collections of beautiful flowers around the world. Okay, done. And then let's say I want to add the collections. Okay, let's say I would like to paste any links from the website. I just find something, copy, and I will just click here and paste it. So it will be here like just now you saw the videos, right? Or let's say I want to write something about sakura flowers. So maybe I will just add collection here, sakura flowers. Beautiful. Okay, let's say I have it here, done. That's it. I have, if I, let's say I want to edit, I'll just click on the pencil marks, blah, 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 done. Okay, let's say I'm not satisfied with this. I want to delete the collection, that particular information, I just delete. Okay, let's say I want to add image, as I said earlier, from the library, from image, from your laptop, you can always do that. If any collections you see from other people's while you're following them, you can just add them to your collection. Add. So you'll find that it is added to the collection. Yes, you see this? Added to the collection. And if you have any PDF documents, you just upload PDF, you just drag and drop. Okay, let's say I have something. Okay, let's say, what should I? Human happiness. Okay, I have few. Badges. Okay, open. Uploading the PDF. Very fast. Okay, PDF. Then I can just view. Okay, if I'm not happy with it, I can delete. If I want to edit something, the wordings there, rewrite it, I can always do that. And again, revisit Twitter, the video, Flipgrid, YouTube, Google Drive, OneDrive, and Shortly, you will discover beauties of app smashing, meaning to say you can drag and drop many tools. You name it, we can do it. Things like that. So once you have done the changes, make sure you decide whether you want to keep this collection private or you want to have it as unlisted or public, and then click done. The changes are saved automatically. Okay, so students, you can have your own Wakelet collection, and there are quite a number of important information that you need to know in order to embark in this journey. Because I would say this is an amazing platform for we educators in order to keep all our webinars information, our lesson planning, blah, 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 everything in one spot. And thousands of collections you can create. Not to worry, because this is safe in cloud base. Okay, so I'm going to show one more here. Okay, Teacher Brian, can you see the creative writing part?
Not yet. Was it in the? Let me just double check it.
Okay, okay. Then I think Google Meet works slightly different from Zoom, I guess.
Yes.
I need to share again, right? Okay, let's say we are coming to this presentation about Wakelet then. Teacher Brian, you can bookmark this. It will be yours.
Yes.
This is from Wakelet from London. So they are giving to any educators who are going to run this program for them. Okay, so I'm going to share some information here. Give me about 10 minutes, I'll finish it.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So because Teacher Brian, since you have the you said you have created the account, right? So meaning to say you can be an educator, promote the use of Wakelet in your surroundings, right? So Wakelet yes. All right, let me go from up here. Okay, Wakelet is a free platform that allows you and your students to save, organize, present, and share content from across the web. Okay, then this is how it works.
Teacher, it's not appearing yet.
Okay. I have to stop sharing then.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay, I hope it works now. Yes, I need to press on the Wakelet slides. Is it appearing
Yes,
now?
it is now. Thank you,
All
teacher.
right. Yes. So Teacher Brian, after that, we have seen the interface of Wakelet just now, right? So this is nothing much to worry. All right. Then students, you see it is free, completely free to use for educators and students from kindergarten, I won't say kindergarten, from play school up to tertiary education. It doesn't, no limit of age group of students. It's unlimited, absolutely no limit on number of collections or items you can add, no limits on the number of collaborators you can invite to collaborate in any of your collections. You just share the link, they'll be able to they'll be able to collaborate. So this is what is happening in We Rise Up for SDGs, Teacher Brian. If you notice that I did inform you the students can collaborate in Wakelet by sending in their artwork, right? So we just click it. They've already created the collection. We just click the link and we upload. So just type our name, our students' names, and that's it. So there's no limited, all right? And it is safe, compliant to all this. All right. So next, Wakelet is explained in simple 4 steps. Okay, which you have gone through earlier before I show you these particular slides. Okay, it saves anything. Save any content from across the web, articles, videos, blogs, tweets, document, podcasts, and more. Teacher Brian, podcast. You can save your podcast here as well. Bookmark anything you find online in 2 clicks. Drag, drop, and drag and drop. Okay. Okay, and then organize and curate. Arrange your bookmarks into stunning collections. I would say I'm not a very creative person, Teacher Brian. So your students and you can have have a look at different marvelous collections of other people once you're following them, and you can see that, oh my goodness, they're so creative and, in organizing their wakelet. They add images, videos, link, text, and more to make their collection more meaningful and engaging. These people are simply super creative, actually. And then you are able to collaborate. Do you remember just now how do you collaborated, teachers? You just press the link, just press edit and upload whatever you want to upload pertaining to whatever aim of that particular collaboration collective spot is about. Okay, and then you present and share. So once you have done your collection, Teacher Brian, as I said earlier, the students, you can just do the presentation in your class, or you just share the information in Teams, Google Classroom, OneNote, Drive, Google Drive, OneDrive. And even we have the immersive reader where you click on it. Some students, they find it difficult to understand English, to read in English language, maybe not in your setting, but in other people's setting. So they will just play that immersive reader. Whenever you see this icon, you just press it. This particular AI machine will read for you in many languages. It can be translated in many languages.
That's really awesome, teacher.
Yes, Teacher Brian. And app smashing, I was telling you just now, because Teacher Brian, our teacher students must be very, very creative, very advanced from us, I suppose. So they want to app smash with many apps. So you can app smash with Microsoft Sway, Mozilla, OneNote, Google Classroom, Twitter, Muncie, Microsoft, whatever. You name it, you can app smash, and then you can upload those materials. Okay, and Wakelet learning outcomes. It is not that we want to use the tool for the sake of using. You need to see the purpose of using, and also it can be a platform for you to store, like a library, so many sections collections you can create and store everything here. You do not have to worry that it is going to be missing. You have to find in your OneDrive, in your Google Drive, in your laptop, in your Teams, your classroom, blah, 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 blah. But if you have this one thing here, then you can just link it to your Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams. It is a quick and easy way to capture and share learning resources, a visual, engaging learning environment for you and your students, and then a fun way to improve student engagement and performance. Just now, marvelous, your students were able to collaborate. It's just that my line is not so good, so I'll be able to see it later, Teacher Brian. Streamlined curriculum delivery. You can have your lesson plan. You can have whatever you want. You name it, you can have it there. Empower digital citizenship and digital skills for your students. The fastest and easiest way to collaborate on your group projects. Why it is called digital citizenship? Digital skills for your students. Maybe your teacher students will be graduating next year, right? So they might be posted in high school or in elementary school. So those age group of students more than 13 years old, they can open a Wakelet account and they can become a Wakelet ambassador, recognized worldwide by Wakelet with special recognitions given to them. How to do it? You will learn it. Okay, then if you follow Wakelet, direct from Wakelet, the company itself. So the amazing ways to use Wakelet for pre-K to 8th grade, these are the ways: high school, university, staff educators, personal use. So these are the rich ways to use Wakelet, okay? And even more. Okay, so key features, you are able to collaborate. So just now, do you remember, students, teachers? Teacher Brian shared the link and you were able to collaborate at the real time. And then the use of immersive reader, which can translate from the language that you are using to 60 different languages, and great for inclusivity and equity for those who are having I mean, they are having some, they are, what do you call it, underprivileged children. So this is a very good platform to use immersive reader. And you can just copy collection, bookmark them, embed the collection as well. Okay, and then how can teachers use Wakelet? Okay, you can use as newsletters. So after this, Teacher Brian, if you find that your students are super good and you want to create newsletters, you can always have a collection on newsletters, podcasts, or whatsoever, Teacher Brian. I think you know better than me. Collecting resources, lesson planning, documenting your PD, professional developments, interactive lessons. Like just now, Teacher Brian, I remember you said that Teacher Nirmala has stored everything in this platform. So let
Yes,
us wait to see, right, Teacher Brian?
that's right.
So
That's right.
yeah, so I assume that the lesson was very interactive, right? Your students were like, oh my goodness, everything is one spot. I don't have to, searching for the links, searching for the materials, everything. Do you believe, Teacher Brian, I just did this particular collection for your students in less than 30 minutes yesterday.
Wow, that's fantastic. That would
Yes.
really help them, teacher, for whenever
Yeah.
they are about to present as well. This is really helpful, actually.
Yes, yes, Teacher Brian. And then group research with your PLN or classes, meaning to say, Teacher Brian, in future, let's say you have a global quarantine meeting, right? You want to have a collection of Wakelet for us, and then you just put everything in it, and then we will be able to collaborate. Your Padlet, you try to link it with the Wakelet and all that. So that will be an extra, I would say, platform for you, Teacher Brian, to apply to be a community leader in Wakelet. I will show you shortly. Okay, how can students use Wakelet? 13 years old and over, 13 years old and below, assignment submission, classroom discussion, digital portfolio, group research, project. You see, I have been using Wakelet, but least I was actually using for my students, the primary students, elementary school students who are 12 years old and below. So, these few months I've started whatever projects my students are doing, I ask them to upload in Flipgrid. In Wakelet. Flipgrid and also Wakelet. So Wakelet, I'm actually doing for We Rise Up for STDs, Human Happiness, and some other projects. And my classroom teaching projects also, I started to ask them to upload in Wakelet. So how librarian can use this, also important. Okay, a day in Wakelet, enable classroom, curating resources, lesson planning, students as a newsletters. I'm quite interested with the newsletters, Teacher Brian, to do with my primary school students. Okay, this is very important part for teachers out there and Teacher Brian especially. Once you sign into Wakelet, you're already Wakelet community member. Remember to sign up. Okay, once you sign up, you'll be given a badge, something like this, and you can just share in your social media pages to know that you are a member. Welcome to the community member. Okay, then Teacher Brian, I'm just applying for this Wakelet community leader. So here, Teacher Brian, what we have to do is that you need to answer a few questions, how you are actually using Wakelet in your own setting as a teacher, as an educator, in your environment, I mean, in your circle, in your district, globally, like as I mentioned earlier, you have podcasts and all that. How do you actually collaborate in Wakelet? Things like that. So you need to answer a few questions. Then we have to send this collection through our personal Wakelet, and then this particular people from Wakelet from London, they will view it, and then if we really qualify, they will give us this title, Wakelet Community Leader. Then after that, another step is the Wakelet Ambassador. I have not embarked into this, Teacher Brian. Once I'm here, I will let you know. So here, I probably, like what I'm doing today for you and your students, is another additional point for me to show that to become a leader, not only we confine that to ourselves, but to use it for others, let others to discover the beauty of it and spread to others, spread to the whole university, spread to the whole Philippines, so that people are aware of these particular things. And then for your students who are going to graduate next year, if they're in the school, they can always, they're teaching 13 years and above students, they can always enroll their students in Student Ambassador project program. So the students will get international recognition, certificates, and there are some projects I think the students have to do. Okay, so it is easily you can upload in split seconds using your laptop or handphones. It is not that difficult. Okay, so get started by signing up at wakelet.com, sign up, create, share. Okay, and then useful resources are available here. You can always, and more importantly, Teacher Brian, your students and you can attend, I would say, weekly or monthly webinars from Wakelet team, UK, from the UK, so that the beginners are being taught. We are not left alone, you know. This is a marvelous platform. We are not alone in this journey, Teacher Brian. Weekly or monthly, if not mistaken, they organize webinars for beginners, how we can use Wakelet. So by attending that, you will also get international certificate, as well as you will learn, you'll have the enthusiasm, the motivation to use Wakelet. You know, like myself, I started to use Wakelet in 2019, but then along the way, you know, I was carried away. I was not using for some time, but then for the past few months, I'm involving myself in few projects that I told you, obviously, the two main projects. So I'm started to joining these webinars for beginners. No harm in joining webinars for beginners. So what? You learn from scratch again to refresh the memories. You know, it's not an issue at all. Okay, all right. So with this, there's one more, a few minutes. I just want to show one more.
Yeah, we're interested with that one, teacher, the Microsoft.
Yes.
That's what I'm also waiting for them, because you know, just before you start, Teacher Nirmala, okay, this is really how will I say this, information overload, but our mind are still accepting. Why? Because you know, teacher, this is the only opportunity that this wonderful teachers in the making can have new ideas. That's why I'm really thankful that you are giving us time. You're sharing this for them as early as now, third year students of
Yes, you are right, Teacher Brian. Teachers, you know what? I'm using Wakelet after like 19 years of my teaching.
And
I'm proud.
Listen to your podcast, teacher.
Yes, and my podcast was the first one. To tell you the truth, I was shivering. I was wondering, what is podcast on earth? And Teacher Brian, I owe you a lot for that.
As always. So we're excited, teacher. Come on, please tell us the details about Microsoft.
All right. So teachers, my journey, as Teacher Brian said earlier, everything started after 18 years of my teaching in one word called Microsoft. Okay, I'm not IT savvy. I can't even share screen 3 years back if you ask me to be in this platform, to be with you, if not because of Microsoft. I dare to face you, to, you know, accept the invitation and be here is because of one word, one platform, that is Microsoft. It changed me 360 degrees actually. And as I always believe, and Microsoft people always tell, is that the technology is just a tool, and you, the teacher, is the one going to make a lot of difference, a lot of changes in you, a lot of changes in your community, in your circle, people around you, globally, locally. Most important, do not forget your clients. Your students are your clients. Whatever you do, whatever PD sessions, whatsoever you're going to take up, but remember, your clients are your students. Look at them first before you're embarking in your own professional developments in the pretext of helping your learners. So that is my advice. Okay, so once you're here, teachers, you need to type Microsoft Educator Center. Once you have typed here, there will be a page asking you to sign up. So I can't do it now because I've already signed up. So what you have to do is that you just type create one. Once you type create one, you better write down, yeah, teachers. Once you type create one, then you fill in your information. Do not forget your user ID and password, because in the future, if you're going to apply for any MIEE, Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert program, to be recognized as MIEE, you need to remember your username and password, because I've came across a few educators of my friends who lost their password. So, I mean, you need to ask the Microsoft to reset, blah, 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 and all that will take a lot of trouble for you. So make sure you write down in your smartphone. Okay, then after that, we have trainings. So you can click courses, learning paths, webinar online, and then you can just get started to explore the world of training for yourself and gain international badges and certificates. And you have lesson plans, hacking STEM, Minecraft Education Edition, which is the latest technology that is the young learners or adult learners are crazy about. They really want to explore Minecraft. Okay, so you may want to have a look at that. And then we have Microsoft Innovative Educator Program. You can read what is it about. And then Student Teacher Education Program, Global Training Partners Pro, Showcase School Program. So even the university that Teacher Brian you're working for can be a showcase school and all that. So how to go about it, everything is there. If you need any assistance, I always have Microsoft people to help us. And then we have more other resources here actually. Okay, so you see, you have many resources. You just have to click it and you just have to learn. Okay, you can take the quiz about Wakelet, Flipgrid, 21st Century Learning, or whatsoever. They have thousands of articles, and you can take quizzes and so on. Okay, hang on a minute. I think okay, you are not able to see. Okay. Teacher Brian, am I on the first page, set up your hybrid learning classroom?
Yes, you are on the set up your hybrid, teacher.
Okay, and then you can read all this information. Okay, teachers learn about Microsoft. You know, Microsoft E2, we had this E2 recently. Teacher Brian knows about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Work
yes.
ending.
Okay, and so quite a number of information you can read. But most importantly, sign up in Microsoft Education Center, create one account for you. And once sign up, you need to sign in. Okay, once you have signed up, you sign in. I will just show you something. And I think I have to stop sharing and share again. As you know, it's not showing the other page. Yeah, sign to your account. Okay, share. Okay, so I've used this account. Okay, I've just signed in.
There you go.
Okay, so do you see? I'm Bagesh Dashini. Okay, so if you see my profile, Teacher Brian, can you see my profile?
Yeah, lots of completed courses, teacher. So amazing.
Yes. I started from scratch. Teacher Brian, I started from scratch. So eventually, over these 2 years, I took courses in Microsoft, as I told you earlier, in trainings and, programs here. You have to just go through the videos, the notes and all that. And after that, there will be like 10 questions, like quiz based. You need to get like 8 out of 10 in order to get 80%. But once you fail for the first time, do not worry. You can retake many times as you want until you get this type of badges. Okay? And then you can view your transcripts. So especially for Teacher Brian, you can start working on this so that when you are applying for your MIEE in May, so this will be looked into consideration.
Yeah,
This will be taken
I'm
into
starting
consideration.
up, teacher. That's how busy I am. School life and then personal upgrades.
Oh, yes, Teacher Brian. Okay, still loading. So here you'll be seeing all the PD courses that I've taken, and this really helps as an educator for any application in my MOE, and also in MIEE, because MIEE is renewable every year. I need to conduct PBL projects. Teacher Brian, are you able to see my transcripts?
Not yet, teacher. What we can see are the completed courses.
I know. The problem is have to share again
Yeah.
to each of the platform that I'm moving.
Because you know what, teacher? The reason that we are using Google Meet mostly here in the Philippines because it
Uh-huh.
doesn't take up lots of data and it's a little bit easier. But the difficulty is this one when you are trying to share.
Okay, yes, all right. Okay, I think I should be sharing this one. Okay, Teacher Brian, can you see?
Yep. There you go, teacher. Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, Teacher Brian and dear teachers, these are not only the courses that I've taken in Microsoft Educator Center, but sometimes later after this, I'm going to share a code with Teacher Brian, which I've already saved somewhere. Teacher Brian, I will give you the code to your students and yourself. So you get them registered in Microsoft Educator Center, and I'll teach you shortly. I'll show everyone how to redeem the code. Once you key in the code, you will get something like this. For example, Teacher Brian, I've watched the E2 training, custom instructor-led training of E2, right? So I saw the code, the training code. So I've keyed in the training code and I get some points here. I mean, half an hour. The collaboration was half an hour and I get. So it is not necessarily, Teacher Brian, we have to do the courses. That is advantage. That is compulsory for us to do slowly, one at a time, to build up our PD transcript, the beauty of the transcript. But at the same time, let's say you attend any courses related to Microsoft or Microsoft tools in the future, they will definitely give you the redeem code. So once you redeem, so you will be able to get this kind of codes and also the points that I'm talking about. Okay, let's say I've already joined this E2 and I saw a video, a recording of something to do with Flipgrid. So it is written the instructor-led training. So what I do is that I can go to Microsoft Educator Center, I can just type Flipgrid and I can complete a few ranges of courses under Flipgrid, actually, which I've not done for Wakelet and Flipgrid. I need to do, but I keep forgetting. So you can, I keep forgetting. So I'm so motivated and enthusiastic today after meeting your students. So I'll be doing the courses slowly. So these are some of the, of my, sometimes I don't have anything to do. I'll just like, some people, some educators whom I talk to, right? They make a point like one course per day. So eventually they'll be able to finish the courses. Sometimes I finish some of the courses, let's say related to Microsoft Teams, example, but I can revisit the courses again after 3 months or 6 months because there will be additional information, features of the particular but those particular courses. So you can take the quiz to upgrade yourself as well.
Yep.
Okay, so and one last one. Okay, these are the badges which actually you can actually share in your social media pages. Teacher Brian, I did inform you regarding the certified educator for Flipgrid, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, teacher.
I did share the link with you. So the moment you send the needed information, you will get certification as level 1. Then once you have completed, you just let me know. I'll send for student voice ambassador and also certified level 2. Once completed, then we can embark our journey in certified level 3. And then you can view the certificate here. Okay, so you can even share in social media pages or you can view the certificate here as well. So if it is really needed for your professional development, for your upgrading of your what do you call that, your like the grade in your position as a teacher,
Yes,
educator,
the levels.
the levels, right? Can you see my certificate or do I have to stop sharing?
Same procedure, Teacher Nirmala. Unshare again and then share.
Okay. I'm playing hide and seek here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm sure you can see here, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So the certificate is really beautiful. I'm telling you. So it's like professional development. And it is internationally recognized certificate from Microsoft, signed by Mr. Anthony Salcito, Vice President, Worldwide Education. Okay. All right. Now, how do you redeem the code? Yes, let me close some of the pages here. Okay, I need to stop sharing. Okay, we are coming to the last part. So, okay, wait. Okay, I think this is the one, should be share things you love. Okay, fine. Oh, I've shared the wrong one.
What we have, teacher, was the wakelet.
Yeah, yes, the wakelet, right? Okay. Okay, just a minute. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm sure you can see this, right, Teacher Brian?
Yes, teacher. We're now on the wakelet.
Okay, I have to stop sharing again and share again for the one last part.
Well, actually, if that's the problem, if you're using single monitor, teacher, because for example, on my end, I have dual monitor so I can see what I'm sharing. But with single monitor, challenging.
Oh, yes, exactly. I need to follow your footstep then. Okay. Then, students, as I said earlier, you need to create an account for you, sign up for an account, and then start working on your professional development courses. And then after that, you can go to redeem achievement code. Once you have my code later, you just type it here and then click redeem. So once you click it here, you will notice that in your certificate, if you go to your my profile, you will notice that you are given certain number of points, like maybe 500 points, or let's say this is 2 hours, maybe 500 points. So if you get, by doing the courses or any webinars you attended, if you get minimum 1000 points, you are already certified MIE. Congratulations, Microsoft Innovative Educator. You will get a nice certificate. So with that, you will be able to join our MIEE program after you have graduated, you're posted in a school, high school or elementary school. That will be a ticket for you to join this MIEE program. Usually it will start in May until July, the mid of July. Then you need to do like project-based learning for about 4 to 6 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks in using Microsoft tools. All right. Then you have to send to Microsoft Philippines through a link in Microsoft website. Then Microsoft Philippines personnel will look into your PBL, project-based learning, and they will determine whether you are qualified in using, whether it has wow factor, it really engage your students, not merely to show that, hey, hello, I can use the tools. No, it is to show that your students are engaged, you get marvelous outcomes from the project that you have conducted with them, and that will be the ticket for you to get MIEE. All right. So later I'll pass to Teacher Brian shortly the redeem code. Okay, but you need to sign up first. So this is the beautiful journey for you in order to embark, so that you will be somebody, you are able to use technology tools in order to engage your learners. Because just now I noticed that if I just merely, talking blah, 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 without, having anything to show you, without these technology tools, I am not sure whether you might be motivated to learn in my class, but after I've seen that, I've shown something from Wakelet, then from YouTube, from something, from my little hut here, I noticed that something has actually happened. I think I made some changes. I think rather than following like Teacher Brian already informed me that teacher, are you going to present the usual PowerPoint, or you're going to embed it in Wakelet? The new use of, I mean, the transformation of from PowerPoint from those days, from his school days until now, is embedded in Wakelet, so it should have given an impact. So with that, I hope you have learned something. So this might not be my first and last. If any time around Teacher Brian invites me, by all means, I love to collaborate with Teacher Brian to meet you again. So my love for everyone. Thank you.
So wonderful, teacher. That is so wonderful. We're really honored. Actually, the students, the time of the last subject is up until only 5, but then they are really, they're really interested, because it is not just about creative writing. As an educator, as early as now, I've mentioned already that they should be engaged, because they cannot simply get this for free. Yeah, they can attend, but then we already have someone, teachers, third years. We already have an MIEE in front of us. So let's take the opportunity. We're not paying here. We're just here to listen, expound our minds, okay? Be open to new ideas. So we're really thankful, Teacher Nirmala. I don't know how we can say our thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teacher Brian, and dear teachers. So hope to meet you some other time, maybe in social media pages. Okay, so I am always keep in touch with Teacher Brian. So I'm so happy to be invited. I'm honored as well, Teacher Brian, for choosing me to be with you to do this co-teaching. It is an honor, Teacher Brian. Thank you so much, dear
The pleasure
teachers.
is always ours. And teachers, can you open your camera for the last time so we can take picture with Teacher Nirmala? All right. The wonderful students of LSPU Los Baños. Third
Oh,
year
I see.
education students.
Which university are they from?
Laguna State Polytechnic University.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
the school is really proud of them. Actually, they have lots of projects, okay? They are collaborating already outside the university, and I'm giving this to them so that they can expand their knowledge, because why
Yes.
should I only take this if I can share it with them? Go ahead. Use all the knowledge.
Yes, yes, exactly, Teacher Brian. And I'm so happy that you are an educator who really in favor of technology, and like we are actually helping one another to come up in this world of technology.
Yes,
Right.
and I'm happy that they are really participating. So, who's this? Miss Pantonial, Ivrian, Miss Manila, Charmaine, Miss Angelica, can you open your cam and show us your very beautiful smile, please? We're just waiting for Miss Manila and Miss Paradero. Come on, girls. Oh, there you go. All right, so let's take the camera in 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Thank you very much, Teacher Brian, and dear
Sure.
teachers.
We're
Truly
so
happy to meet all of you.
Oh, again, the pleasure is ours. Without this, we wouldn't be, this would not boost the academic side of these teachers, Teacher Nirmala. Also, their willingness to improve themselves. Yeah, internet is a big problem, the connection. But then, if they got good connection, they would definitely have a look onto this. It's their advantage. It's not our advantage. Actually, we can do this anytime. But then, we are here for a purpose. I'm not just here to be their teacher. I'm here to educate, to share what I'm getting because, they are the future. I'm getting old already. So go
Yes.
ahead. They can do it.
Yes, I'm very happy in a way that A Rose for Emily and The Road Not Taken. Actually, these were the two fiction genres actually shared by one of my favorite professors when I was in the university. Professor, if, I'm not sure whether you know him. He's quite famous in Malaysia. Professor Edwin Malakai Vedamani from University Putra, Malaysia.
I've heard his last name, Professor Benaman. What was again? I've heard.
Malakai Vedamani.
Yeah, I've heard him because I'm also trying to attend some of the webinars
Workshops.
there.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So, he used to be, into explaining about A Rose for Emily and The Road Not Taken. So, when I was like preparing for this, I was actually recalling of my memories, memories during the university days.
Oh my, oh my. You are sharing the good news. You're keep on spreading, you're keep on inspiring educators, Teacher Nirmala.
Thank
So
you, Teacher
very
Brian. Okay, Teacher Brian. Thank you so much, teachers. Thank you, Teacher Brian. So, shall we
yes,
end today?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Truly
Thank you,
appreciate
ma'am.
you all. Were wonderful, marvelous students. Okay.